Hello.
Hello.
And she's here.
I'm here.
She's here. Is this your farewell podcast to us? No, thank you very much for thinking of us and being nice and mentioning us.
On the what was the hashtag?
On that Twitter
It was
feed.
International Podcast Day. Seriously, was I the only one that caught that? Where's my movie, Scott?
Oh, snap! We went there already.
You know what? I totally slipped my mind. I will send it.
Scott's in
I have your
trouble.
address.
Scott's in trouble.
Yes, I am.
Totally is. Oh, funny. There, I gave it back to you.
Thanks for calling me out on that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Seriously. I don't like, telling people I'm going to send them something and not send it.
I can imagine. Don't forget that $50 you said you're going to slip in there for me.
Yeah,
Well, there's that 200 that you owe me, so. I figure if we're gonna go there, we might as well just go all out, Rose. Come on.
Well,
just
this
$50.
is true. I know. Well, I didn't. I wasn't sure. How you felt about stuff like that. So you're an onion, Dave. You really are.
I am.
There's
Many
layers to you.
So many
There
layers.
are many layers to you. It's awesome. I love it. So how did it go yesterday? Did anybody participate?
Oh, you're talking about the podcast-a-thon.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah, well, I was live at the Blue Box at between 6 and 7 Central.
Mm-hmm.
The first part of it, there was a friend of mine locally. Her name's Laura, and what we did was we talked about our favorite 80's TV shows for the first half hour. And then
Sweet.
I brought my laptop, and I had music that was used in iconic 80's movies. And what I would do is I would play the song, and the audience had to guess what movie it was used in and what scene in the movie. So,
oh man, you're hardcore.
So like for instance, the song that comes on during Ralph Macchio doing the tournament in Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? You're the Best, I think it's Esposito or something like that. I didn't have anybody named like the artist and the name of the song, but just what movie it was.
Yeah.
So that made it easier, and so there were things like that, or the montage scene during Valley Girl, the I'll Stop the World and Melt with You. So songs like that, and then things that I thought were a little tougher, like there's a song called Overload, and that's in Dirty Dancing.
Right.
And so I thought that was going to be harder, but then somebody pipes up from the back, of course, older guy. Then you're like, Dirty Dancing, dude. Come on, how did you know that? So it was fun.
You're a weirdo.
No, it was fun.
That's cool. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Do you think it was successful?
I mean, by terms of, people coming in and being a participant all day, and them, being able to run the event in both online and there, I would gauge it as successful. I mean, I don't think that, I don't know if there's like, a certain notoriety or media attention that he was hoping to get. I don't know if that he got to there, but
right.
Right. Yeah, I mean it was well done. I mean Rob and Martha, they were there for the day, and hats off to those guys, for spending 14 hours at a cafe, to just set up the mics and keep things running and going, and that's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work.
Yeah. So definitely hats off to them. But it was fun.
Yeah. Cool.
At least for the
I
hour
really
that
wanted
I was
to be.
there.
I wanted to be part of it. I was trying to coordinate with Jesse to do a through the YouTube channel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
About Tom Petty. but he had to work or something like that, so we didn't get to it. So I wasn't able to do anything.
Yeah, if I didn't already have like plans to be there, then I would have tried to do something with the YouTube with you guys.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Yeah. But it's not like we can't do something like that on our own, right?
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't need a podcast-a-thon in order to have some sort of meet and greet with YouTube. And then I'm also thinking that we need to come up with some ideas because we're approaching the 2-year birthday anniversary of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we almost need to do something to go along with that, and maybe something to tie in with Halloween. So I don't know what yet, but just something.
That would be.
So because the first 80's reboot Overdrive posted the week before the end of October 2 years ago. Well, coming up 2 years. So yeah, it'd be kind of nice to commemorate that in some way.
And the pilot was about
Thundercats.
Thundercats, yeah.
Yeah, so co-host, there was a guy named Mike and Nick, who is still around. We just, don't get to talk to him that often. But it was the three of us that just talked about the Thundercats cartoon.
Is he doing other shows right now?
Who, Nick?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know
We should reach out to him, talk to him every once in a while. He's a good co-host.
I like Nick a lot. He's a good guy. Well, Mike is too. It's just Mike just had, a different thought process the way the show is going, I guess. I don't know if that's fair to say.
Mm-hmm.
But, regardless, still a great guy. And I know he's still around doing something. Very creative. So.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten anything maybe I'll get it now that the podcast-a-thon is over.
Oh, the blog. Yeah, I did contact him, 2 days ago and reminded him.
Okay.
So, Thank you, though, for keeping us honest.
Not a problem. What I do?
Well, I'm not as much in trouble. It's Rob's fault, so it's not like I'm Scott trouble, where I didn't, I promised to send you a movie and didn't send a movie.
You're not Scott.
Not Scott trouble. So. Not like when Scott wanted to talk Andrew McCarthy, and I was like, no, we gotta wait for Rose, and, it's all Scott's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, my fault. All my fault.
Yeah, it is. You're gonna be my fault. You're gonna be my fall guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for heaven's sake, this lady needs to stop talking to me. Oh, sorry. My friend is sending me messages through Messenger, and is
that on? Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone.
Use your phone for the podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
There should be a way you can turn off that vibration option.
Oh, hold on. Yeah. You know what? I bet you it's the notification thing.
Yes, it is. Are you on an iPhone or Android?
Android. I'll go into my.
You should be able to control that with your. You should be able to control that just with your volume buttons. Like if you hit it so many times to where it's all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
How
am I going to hear you guys?
Yeah, no. See, when you're on the call, you're on the phone. It's hard to do when you're already on something because then when you're using the volume button, it changes the volume of the actual call.
All right. Have we started recording yet?
Yeah.
Okay. We're always recording.
I don't know. I was going to say, I can try and go in and shut it off real quick. Oh, all right, fine. We'll keep talking.
It's cool. I think we can deal with it.
I think we can deal with it.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to answer her because if I do, then she'll keep talking. So I'm just going to pretend like she didn't say anything until after the podcast is over. Because, I'll tell her I'm on a podcast, and she'll be like, oh, I'm sorry I interrupted you. And then she'll be like, what kind of podcast is it?
And then I go back and forth.
Please. Anywho, yeah.
So,
Alrighty. So everybody got their 3. I have like a 3.5. Actually.
Oh, 3.5. Oh, so you got a half honorable mention. Awesome.
Well, I'm trying to get a backup because I have 3, but I have a feeling we're going to talk about at least one of them.
Yeah, see that one of mine is probably, well, if anybody else has one of mine, they're just going to be in for it. But my main, we all know who that is.
I'm only fearful of one of mine, but
I'm fearful of one of mine, but I know there's no way in.
I know there's one
that anybody's going to get the first one, so I'm not tripping on that one.
Yeah, the first one I know that Rose wants to talk about, I've stayed clear of. I'm like, I know, I've just got to leave that one alone because it's going to get covered.
Yeah. I know who that is too, and I have him. I have the IMDb up already and waiting for her to mention him. I'm not going to say it.
Right. Okay.
It's so hard.
Unless I get to go first, then I might bring it up.
Oh my God! Now I got to call on you first. Perfect. Awesome. Let's see what happens. Another reason for Rose to be mad at you. Good stuff.
It's Bash Scott night. He's a big boy. He can take it.
Yeah,
she's gonna hunt me down.
Yeah, I have people.
Rose is gonna come down to Florida and find me.
And
sweep my leg.
What a great way to blend into our theme there. Nice.
So
let's
get started.
Let's get started.
Please.
All right.
Sword of omens, give me sight beyond sight.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Sur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready? Prepare for blast off.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
Remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
This is 80's Reboot Overdrive Podcast.
Just like Swayze when Jennifer Greyheart knows. Oh, how I miss the 80s, but I'm too young to really know. Too young to know.
Oh my God. That is like so dated.
Alright, this is 80's Reboot Overdrive, and I am Dave. And online I have got 80's Outerverse Scott.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here again.
It's great to hear you again and talk once again. And we've got 80's Music Girl Rose.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Fantastic.
It's going well.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
It's Sunday evening, so who knows when our listeners are going to be listening to this. But for us, it's Sunday evening, and it's a great way to end the weekend is just to talk 80s. So I really enjoy when we get to do this.
Me too.
So today, topic of choice is going to be our top 3 80s bad guys / bullies / fill in the blank. And as I communicated with Rose and Scott, I left it kind of vague and open on purpose because I really wanted to do is, can we pick on a movie person? Do we have to pick on a TV? Or, is there a cartoon? Fill in the blank. It's whatever you want to, the nemesis of whatever it was that was going on in your 80s world that you want to throw in there, even if there's a personal story of just somebody that you didn't get along with. I'm open to that. So I'm really curious if we're just going to mainly go mainstream pop culture type things, or if you guys actually dig a little deep and have like a heartfelt story to share of, somebody that used to kick sand in your face at the beach. I'm sure that happened a lot to you, Scott, and I'm sorry for bringing back bad memories. So, what was that line from Dead Poet Society? Throw copies of Byron at you or something like that, or yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're talking about our top 3 favorite bad guys for best way to give that a title. And I'm really curious to see how this shapes out, so I want to start off with Scott.
Okay. I'm just making a note here. Hold on one second.
You're making a note. I thought you already had this ready, man. You're
I have
a
most of it
professional.
ready. I am okay. I'm gonna start with Kiefer Sutherland.
Is that?
Did I take yours?
No, that's okay. That's the
Okay.
one I was worried that somebody would take, but that's okay because I can fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Good one to take though. That's a good one.
Yeah, he played that I could find and recall 3 different roles where he was like just really a jerk and the bad guy. Like Ace from Stand By Me. Loved him in that. But then there was another movie called The Killing Time where he plays just somebody called The Stranger, where he kills some guy that's supposed to be a new deputy in some town, and he kills him and takes his identity and becomes this, kind of a crooked cop for this town. And it was interesting. I can't remember the whole movie, but I watched a couple of clips because I do remember it a little bit, and it was he kind of played, he played the bad guy. And then of course my favorite role of his, and it's probably one of my favorites of his over the several decades, was David from The Lost Boys. You're eating maggots, Michael. It's just
Yeah.
He was really just so calm and cool and just so evil, and he really played a good vampire, and I don't care, hands down, The Lost Boys makes Twilight just not even look that great as far as vampire movies go. I think The Lost Boys blows that away, and Kiefer playing that role definitely was part of that. Of course, you have the Coreys too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing tops The Lost Boys, and I don't care how many times they remake it, the original is always the best. So there's really nothing they could do to enhance that movie any.
So
people in Hollywood stop doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I was looking through a couple things, and somebody said this about Kiefer. This guy named Thanos of Titan. I don't know who that is. It's just some review that he gave to Kiefer on one of his movies. He says, "Has there ever been a better teenaged antagonist than Kiefer Sutherland in the history of cinema? His characters are the sum total of every jerk who ever stalked a passive kid on a school playground."
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
That makes him sound
good
evil.
description of Kiefer.
He sounds evil.
Yeah, and Kiefer was so great in just about any role that you put him in. I mean, just thinking of him in Young Guns was such a different character, as Doc, versus what he gave us in Lost Boys or Stand By Me. It's just great actor, absolutely great actor. But when he was the bad guy, you felt him as the bad guy, and you were like, he did it, he nailed it.
He's the guy you love to hate.
Yes. He played jerk well.
Yes, very well. So anyway, that's my first pick.
Excellent.
So
right out of the box, big name.
Yeah. So if David as Lost Boys was up against Ace in Stand By Me, who do you think would win there? Well, of course, David. Yeah.
Easily.
David.
Yeah.
Easily. And he can make you think that you're eating maggots and worms. So
Yeah, that's not even easy.
That's playing mind games. That's just
Right.
beyond, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, if David had a mailbox as a vampire, then, you know, Keeper would be able to hit it with a baseball bat. That's a jerk move.
So
And then,
it's
David the vampire doesn't get any mail. I mean, that's not cool.
I wonder if he had a mailbox at the cave.
but you know, it's kind of like a, you know, brain versus brawn type of a thing. You know, if David needed like somebody to, you know, he's a vampire, but you know, Ace was like the muscle.
Right.
You know, he could like push people around and smash their mailboxes and stuff. So, you know, it's really actually a good contrast in those characters.
All right.
Yep.
So, Rose, what's your first choice?
Well, I remember if you recall, I said that I had 3.5.
Yes.
Well, I decided that I wanted to put two people together because in this role that they played in, and honestly, I've never seen them in anything else, and I'm just going to pinpoint a particular movie where you had two people in tandem that were jerks. Is that going to?
Okay, you're killing me here. What are you building up to?
If anyone's ever
keep
seen
it
the
going.
movie Monster Squad,
This is good.
The Monster Squad, Adam Carl and Jason Hervey played, Adam was Derek and Jason was EJ. And they were the nemesis to Horace. And they called him Fat Kid and teased him and took his candy away from him, threw it on the ground, stepped on it, made him eat it, you know. And I remember the scene so well because that movie in itself, you know, is a classic, and it took forever to get out on DVD. I don't know if anybody realized it almost took like 25 years to get that thing on DVD. But Ryan Lambert, who played Rudy, he was kind of a bad guy, you know, on his own. But he was with the kids that got picked on all the time. So he was kind of like their muscle. And when he comes up and makes EJ eat the candy bar up off the ground, you know, the look on Horace's face was like, yeah, that's what you get for messing with me. And so, you know, throughout the movie where they're fighting all the, you know, Dracula and Frankenstein, the Wolfman and all this stuff. And somehow somebody gives Horace a shotgun. And the bullies are like hiding because, you know, hell's breaking loose. And he said something about the Fat Kid or something. And he does one of them rifleman cocks that shotgun and said, "My name is Horace." And they're like, ah! So I think that kind of severed the whole, you know, your guys aren't bullies anymore. You just scared the crap out of you with a shotgun. But yeah, I think they deserve like an honorable mention because they were really not nice people. Very bad children.
I have never seen this movie.
Jason Hervey went on to I think he was in a TV series. He was in the Wonder Years. He played Wayne Arnold in the Wonder Years, and kind of a jerk then too.
Oh yeah, he was a total jerk in that movie, in that show.
Yeah, so
Totally.
He's got kind of a history. Adam Carl, same thing. You know, so these characters, you know, these actors, you know, except for, wait a minute, Adam Carl was Donatello and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so he wasn't a jerk there. But I don't know, Donatello was a jerk. He was kind of full of himself. But yeah, so their movie careers basically kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, I wish I remember more about Monster Squad other than Wolfman's got nards.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that was scary German guy. That was a
Yeah.
good scene where he's reading Van Helsing's diary to them and comes out with this big, huge butcher knife and he goes, "This is your last chance." And the very first time you see that, you're like, "Oh my God, he's gonna kill him." And his last chance for pie. And it's like, why do you have such a huge ass butcher knife to cut a little piece of pie? That was so crazy. But you got to build up that suspense.
So when's the last time you saw Monster Squad?
Last year.
Oh, okay. So is it a yearly thing for you?
I try and make it that because it's a cult classic and to me it's, I don't know. It's just movies like that when you get a bunch of kids together and it was really popular in the 80s, because you had Goonies and you had Stand By Me and Monster Squad and then there was other movies with young kids always seeking, to do the right thing and, fend off evil and all that.
Yeah, anytime you can
always,
pit a group of kids against, a bunch of, like, iconic monsters, it's a fair fight.
It is. It totally is.
There's no One-Eyed Willie, but okay.
No, but, there's, the Frankenstein that, the little sister is, she kind of, takes him on as a charity case because, he's gets lost and he, finds her and instead of, it's kind of like the Frankenstein from the story, it's like he finds a little girl at the lake and, and instead of choking her when something turns on, breaks into fire or something, he just kind of plays with her and stuff. And then they go to the clubhouse and yeah, so he ends up protecting them later on. So it's actually kind of a neat movie.
I feel like I have to revisit it, though. It's been a long time.
You should. I don't think it's on Amazon, though.
Oh, all right. Okay, well, there you go. Let's go back to our scale. How much should I pay to see Monster Squad?
Definitely $3.
It's a $3 movie. Wow, all right.
It's a $3.
Okay, fair enough.
And you can always watch the trailer, too. Just in case you want to try and... I hope nobody, it's nothing on the quality of, special effects wise. I mean, you can see the special effects are actually kind of cheesy and it's definitely B-rated. It wasn't meant to be, an A-lister by any stretch of the imagination.
So
I think the people just...
What you're telling me is it's no Howard the Duck is what you're saying.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, it didn't have big names in there.
No
like
Howard.
That.
Okay, all right. So we go into it with that kind of mentality. I got it.
Yeah, it had Mary Ellen Trainor in it, and of course Ryan Lambert and Stephen Mock, if you remember him. Andrew Glover plays Sean. Dan Shaw is in it. He plays a cop. So, yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of humor in it, and it's, there's some terrifying scenes. Dracula is kind of a meanie pants, but,
Dracula's a meanie pants. That goes direct contradiction to that last review that we just did about Lost Boys.
I know. He's not a nice
never once
guy,
did we say
okay?
Kiefer Sutherland is a meanie pants.
No. Yeah, well, he's not Dracula, though.
Yeah, this is true. There was someone else in that as the main villain vampire for Lost Boys.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been really cool if it would have been Donald Sutherland on Lost Boys for the main villain.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. About the same, right around the same age as the other guy.
Yeah. I don't know if he could have pulled off the nice part, though.
Oh, true. The kind of the innocent.
Yeah.
Sly guy, yeah.
Each guy to kind of be, innocent and trustworthy at first.
So anyway, I don't have any input for the Monster Squad. I feel bad because I've never seen it, not even once.
It's okay.
This part where we go. No, there's plenty of those where I've been like, I haven't seen that, but I know there's a lot of our listeners who would probably be gasping, at that. So
Yeah.
But I think we're allowed. I think we're allowed. There are certain things where I'm going to call them gaps in our 80s-ness. And,
Okay.
And I think, we're allowed to have those. But, I mean, it can be corrected. You can go back and revisit these things.
Yeah.
I did that with They Live. I mean, I hadn't seen that before earlier
that
this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
So, and I regretted not having seen that, back in the day. And there's plenty of those. And I know that the one that every time I bring up, the fact that I've never seen The Thing, I get, the same kind of gasp. Like, oh my God.
Wow.
Like, how in the
And you
world
still
have you not...
You haven't caught up with that yet?
I have not.
Really, yeah.
I'm going to, but it's just one of those things that just hasn't happened yet. So Monster Squad is yours. It's one of those air quote homework assignments.
Oh no.
Well, we've got a growing list. I mean, as we talk, every time we have these things, that's what happens.
This is true.
So my first one is actually a little bit of a personal story. Yeah, and what would happen is it happened around this relatively the same spaces every time in my hometown, and very innocently, it'd be around the same time where I would be trying to, I don't know, just grab something to eat, and there was this guy. He'd show up, and I just seem to remember this red shirt, and just being an uber bully, and he would, I would actually be afraid of him, and I would actually have to run away. But every so often I'd feel empowered, and then I was able to chase him a little bit, but then once again, that empowerment would wear off, and then he would chase me back. And unfortunately, it was just an ongoing problem, and it almost felt like I was just running around in a maze. And my nemesis name was Blinky.
Well, we all got sucked into that one.
And so what would happen is I would go to the arcade, I would put my quarter in and get the Ready Player One, and I would be playing Pac-Man. And the one person that I absolutely hated the most out of all four ghosts was Blinky, because he always nailed me. I just could not get away from Blinky. So that's going to go as my number one bad guy for in the 80s, is because no matter, a game as simple as Pac-Man should have been, you're a little circle running around eating dots, and then these ghosts just were, I don't know, just horrible, absolutely horrible. And Blinky was the most aggressive one of the group, and I just hated him. So that's going to be my number one bad guy right now, speaking through the 80s and in my arcade experience. So I don't know if you guys had better experiences with Pac-Man or not.
No, actually, I'm not really a Pac-Man playing person, so yeah.
Nothing, huh? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Scott?
Okay, I'll say that I played Pac-Man quite a bit.
Right.
No more than a lot of the other games I played. I bounced around from game to game, so I can't say that Blinky was a nemesis of mine offhand. I couldn't tell you which one is Blinky. What color was he?
Red.
He was the red one. Okay.
Yeah. Well, hence my story, the red shirt.
Right on. Red shirt. Got it. Okay. I get it. Wow. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, Dave.
I'm an onion.
When I was looking at ideas to come up with to remind me of who this was or who these jerks were from the 80s and movies and stuff. Nowhere did Pac-Man come up in my search. So.
Well, I was going between that and Donkey Kong, and once again, Donkey Kong seemed like it was a simple game, but once again, I don't know what it was. I just didn't have the dexterity of being able to jump at the right time, grab the hammer, and, knock the barrels out. So, I wasn't good at either one of those games. I mean, I like to play Defender was actually the game of choice when I was at the pizza parlor. But, I would still want to attempt to beat Pac-Man. And I think, at best, I got through maybe 2 of the levels. And, it was just one of those things that was the bane of my existence. I just could not do well with it. So I was definitely nowhere near Billy Mitchell status, on playing that game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's a tough achievement right there.
and for those with the 80s knowledge knows that Billy was the first person to get the perfect game of Pac-Man.
Which I still don't even know how that's possible. It's just insane.
Yeah, and in the perfect game, you've got to eat every single dot, every single one of the little fruit things that shows up, and kill every ghost after you eat the power pellet. And then get through to 256 levels. So
on one Pac-Man.
God.
Right, exactly.
On one life.
Yeah, on one life.
So by the time you get to the end, there's 5 lives that you've built up, right? Yeah, and then you have to do the last screen like 4 times in a row or something like that, where they're hidden dots and something.
Yeah, the split screen.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and so Blinky was my nemesis, and usually the one that stopped my, my thoughts of grandeur at beating that game. So, thank you for reliving that moment with me. We're going back around the horn again. Scott, who's your second choice?
See, I didn't think I was going to be able to get to this one. I thought you were I'm going to have to go with, I'm going to steal somebody's, I think. William Zabka from Karate Kid. Just a total jerk. And a couple other movies that he was a total jerk also. Just One of the Guys. And then Back to School.
Yes.
Yeah. Chaz. What a name. Yeah, he was a jerk in all of those. And it was, he was also, he played a small role in it. In European Vacation, he played Audrey's boyfriend, who was just he broke up with her over the phone or something. He just played a jerk in that too. It was a small role, but still a jerk. And he did it so well. So I just Karate Kid. I mean, think about it. I think a lot of people relate to him as being like the kind of the epitome of what the high school bullies were, and he played the same guy in Just One of the Guys too. And again, Back to School with college, but still he's done a good job of being the guy you love to hate also.
But now at the end of Karate Kid, I mean, didn't you get the impression that he was trying to be cool by Daniel? I mean, do you remember that? Where he he grabbed the trophy and he was like giving it to Daniel. He's like, "You did all right, kid," or whatever it was that he said. And, and then going into the second movie, it seemed like it was the teacher that was more of the bad influence and the reason why he was being a jerk.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. Are you stealing my thunder?
No, I'm not stealing your thunder. I'm just thinking that, the Karate Kid, though, I mean, I think that towards the end, it was one of those things where he was evolving as a character.
Okay, I'll agree that the teacher was probably a bigger jerk.
Right.
Overall. But throughout the first, however many minutes, until the last 5 minutes, you thought he was a jerk.
Oh, of course. Of course. But
Did he come back around like that in Just One of the Guys in Back to School too? Because I haven't seen those in a while, but I just remember him being a jerk in them.
I don't remember him coming back around with Back to School.
Okay.
Just One of the Guys has been way too long.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
All right. Rose, are you are you into sweeping the leg, Johnny?
Yeah, that was actually a good call. I was hoping somebody would pick him because I wasn't going to. So, only because we've been talking about this for like weeks now, and I truthfully have only seen Karate Kid maybe once.
Oh wow!
In its entirety.
Yeah.
I know. She love it when I say stuff like that. And I do remember him being a Smurf, but it's kind of like that particular character really stands out. When you see someone that puts their heart and soul into being a Smurf. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do have kind of a little side story on this guy too. Is one of my cousins, a younger cousin, told me just within the last 7 or 8 years that when we were kids, I would come visit Chicago from California, and he told me that I reminded him of Johnny. I'm like, how did I remind you of Johnny? I never picked on you. like I wasn't like a bully or anything. I don't know where it was coming from, so it's kind of weird. Anyway, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would so love to hear the background of this story. I'd love to find out how you were.
I'd love to know where
it's very one-sided.
Yeah. We need this guy on. Was it a guy, girl, what?
It's one of my. He's a male cousin of mine. He actually might be good on a show. He develops video games.
What?
We just need to find out how you were like Johnny.
I would love to know.
Yeah.
I would love to know.
We need the background. We need the info.
Yeah.
Okay. If I remember, I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
I gotta see if I can find a way to get a hold of him.
He's totally not going to do it now.
He's totally not. It's like he can't even remember to send a movie. What the hell?
I swear, I am losing my mind. I can't remember half the stuff that I'm supposed to do.
Oh.
It's either that or I'm just so frustrated with it, I just try to forget a lot of stuff. Like, I have so many mechanical things going on in my house that are just failing right now. It's just ridiculous.
Well, on behalf of Rose, I'm sorry.
So, anyway, okay, now it's Rose's turn.
Rose's turn. Rose, number 3. Number 2.
Number 2. Scott took my number 2, so I had to quickly scramble for
So what, Keeper was your number 2?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's okay because I found this guy while you guys were talking, especially during your Pac-Man monologue, so that was really helpful. Thank you for droning on and on about
droning on and on. Jeez, I thought that's what the podcast is about, was droning on and on, but all right.
It is. And you did a great job. I'm commending you for it. Dude, don't be so defensive. Anyway.
It's okay. I just need a minute.
Tito, give me a tissue.
I'm being such a Johnny right now.
All right, go ahead.
Anyway.
Number 2.
So, I don't know if anyone's ever seen, I don't want to say that. Let me retract my statement. There are people out there who have seen this movie, I hope. And it's one of my favorites because it stars one of my favorite actors, John Cusack. And the movie's called Better Off Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Then you'll remember Johnny the Paperboy.
I want my $2. That's awesome. That is a good pick.
Yeah, Damian Slade. played Johnny the Paperboy, and he was a little badass. He had a switchblade comb.
Yeah.
And he would stand there with those dead eyes. I want my $2. And he's combing his hair, you know. And then apparently in 1985, $2 was a big deal. So I don't think it was the money. It was the principle of the thing. You know, they lived in a nice neighborhood. He had to work for a living. You could tell he was downtrodden. He had bags under his eyes because he'd probably been up since 4 a.m. rolling papers. Newspapers, not the other kind.
Nice bounce back there.
But, you know, and then he gets all of his buddies, you know, together. You know, they're like, you know, who walks through a graveyard, in the middle of the night, but apparently they're just, all out in full force, you know, to hound him.
Mafia.
Yeah, and then he had the wicked bike that changed into, a skiing bike and he had skis on his...
I know. He went to the...
Chasing him down at the end of the movie and during the last race, you know?
Yeah.
He was relentless, man.
He definitely was. Now, to me, that is, horror movie type of, that's Jason, Freddy, rolled into a small package of menacing villainness.
Just when you think he's gone.
Just when you think it's safe to go to the mountains and ski the K-12.
Honestly, when I suggested putting this topic together, I never once in my mind had thought the process that anybody was going to come up with Johnny the Paperboy. Thank you, Rose.
You're
is
welcome.
Awesome.
I owe it all to Pac-Man. True.
Awesome pick. Absolutely.
Or Dave's
awesome.
long-winded monologue about Pac-Man.
I'm thinking that I need to get a new co-host. So if anybody's interested, go ahead, tweet me at 80's Reboot and say that either hashtag Rose replacement or hashtag Scott replacement.
Oh.
Oh,
you
man.
find somebody to replace me, honey, because there ain't nobody out there. I'm just saying that right now.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that sounded great. I'm sorry, dear. I'll never replace you. Don't hurt me.
Oh, my goodness. Go on with your second pick here.
Scott, call the police. All right. So where were we? So were we good with Johnny? Did you do? I think we already covered Johnny the Paperboy pretty well.
That's awesome. I don't know what else he's been in, but that's a great pick.
He's been in quite a few things. He was actually in Back to the Beach, which is really weird.
I was trying to think of who. I'm sorry. I was trying to think of who you sounded like when you did that little voice just now. That was
Rosie.
Totally Rosie Perez. Completely Rosie Perez. Very good. Very good imitation of her.
Oh, I liked her in White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah.
She's like,
There's been quite a few things that make you want to punch her in the face.
Yeah, now Billy, when I say that I want a drink of water, that doesn't mean you got to go get me a drink of water. That means I want you to sympathize with me.
Oh, wow.
Love that. Absolutely love her.
That was good.
Thank you.
I like that.
All right. So my second pick. I don't know if you guys really into 80s cartoons. I know, Rose, that you were a little older, so you probably weren't watching, the 80s cartoons. But and I've got to pick on my my lifeblood here. As far as what started out 80s Reboot is Thundercats.
Mm-hmm.
The main bad guy that they had on Thundercats was this dude named Mumra. Just evil. Just absolutely evil to the core. In a lot of the 80s cartoons, you had these bad guys. And I'm thinking like Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe, who was just kind of a farce of himself.
Right.
And,
Shredder,
and it was just kind of like they're very unbelievable as far as being beatable. but Mumra just reeked evilness. And I think really, if I remember right, the only thing that was his, the way to beat him was to show him his own reflection, which is kind of a weird kind of, Achilles heel to give him. But I still think that as far as being a really great cartoon villain, I think Mumra was it. And as a kid, seeing this, this feeble mummy be able to turn into this very big, muscular, badass thing against the Thundercats, that was it. That was definitely when he was there, and it wasn't just the mutants that were normally against them, which those guys were unbelievably as bad guys, bumbling. But then you had Mumra, and it was just like he was scary, badass, and just awesome all at the same time. So I've got to give it up to Mumra.
I don't know. He's no Gargamel.
Oh, Gargamel.
Yeah, there aren't too many Gargamels out there.
Yes. All right, good point. Gargamel would definitely beat Mumra in a fight.
I mean, even his title was even Gargamel the Evil Wizard.
Once again, let's change that. Hashtag replace Scott. Anyway, all right, so...
No, I did not watch Thundercats that much.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that's kind of the area I was going into on this one. I thought I was probably the one that had kind of the higher appreciation for that cartoon than maybe the two of you. But, I mean, not to say anything bad against you guys, but just, that was just kind of where I was, and that was my thing, and so Mumra was just the, evil guy that you got to see right there at the beginning of, during the intro, and when he was there, it was just awesomeness as a bad guy. So I think a lot of people that were into the 80s cartoons, can relate, and I would love to hear if there would be arguments, let's say, because I know there's a lot of division between the Thundercats versus He-Man world.
Skeletor!
Yeah, Skeletor. So, who would win? Skeletor against Mumra? That's a great, great question. I'd love to, debate that out with people. So that's my pick for number 2.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I don't think I'm digging too deep, right? So.
No.
Yeah, all right. So we're going around again. So third pick, over to Scott.
All right. Well, I'm going mainstream yet again. And I am going with Biff Tannen.
Good job.
Thomas Wilson.
Picked my
Good
third one.
job.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Absolutely picked my third one. And I knew that was the one that was going to get picked. I knew it.
I'm shocked that I got to him. Nobody took my picks. Maybe it's because I got to go first, so the way it rolls, So thanks for letting me go first in the first place.
So you need to go like really slow on your monologue about Biff. That way I can find a third like Rose did.
So there's this movie, right? And there's this guy, and he goes into this time warp thing, and he meets this guy Biff. I think it's something like that.
Yeah, it's like he's...
Am I dragging this out long enough?
He's like this guy that like really like mean to people and stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe he's just like this one particular guy that he's mean to.
At one point he says, "Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?"
I know. Who says that? God. Such a jerk. He picks on
I think
trees. I mean, that's horrible.
You know what I love so much about that character, though, is that he transcended the time zones, that Marty went through. You had, him in the Old West, You know, obviously
Yeah.
it was, you know, they're all related people, but, you know, you had Buford
Mhm.
Mad Dog Tannen, and then in the future
Mhm.
you had Griff Tannen, and then in the middle
Mhm.
there you had Biff. All of them
Yeah.
equally just jerks. Absolutely
Yeah.
great jerks.
The only time he
Yeah.
wasn't was when Marty changed the past
Mhm.
and made his dad the famous sci-fi writer, and Biff was all kissing his butt and making sure the car is all nice and clean.
Yeah,
That was the
two
only
coats
time
of
that he
wax,
was soft.
Biff. Yeah, we
I'm
need
just
2
putting
coats of
second
wax.
coat on now.
Yeah, I was going to get to that right now.
Yeah. All right, Biff. Don't you try and whatever he says.
Let's try and con me.
Yeah, there
Why?
you go. Oh, goodness. Such a
That's
great
a good
movie.
one. He was a jerk, and all, like you said, he transcended the time, all the times, from the
Yeah,
1800s.
he did really
to
good. Yeah.
2014,
Did
no,
really good job.
2015.
Do you know if he was in anything else that might have been noteworthy for his bulliness?
It was he was a teacher in Freaks and Geeks, and he played kind of teacher for a little bit, but there were some parts. There were some parts where he was, you know, he kind of broke down and became more of a relatable character, where he wasn't as just this tough gym teacher. You know, he kind of broke a little bit. He softened up a little bit. So that's the only thing I really remember him, other than the Back to the Future movies.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Turner and Hooch, I guess. Action Jackson.
He was in Turner and Hooch as what?
I don't know. Is Detective Scott Turner? Oh, the TV movie.
I was going to say, he played Tom Hanks' character in a TV movie?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I just realized that. That's what it was.
Wow.
I didn't realize that either. That's weird.
He was in a gang on a movie called L.A. Street Fighters.
Okay.
All right, so what are we doing? Are we doing Thomas F. Wilson, Icon, or what? Just kidding.
You want us to drag that out?
Did you find your third one yet?
I actually did. I appreciate
stalling,
the stall.
Okay, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
We're stalling for you.
So we're doing Thomas F. Wilson, the Icon series. This is what we're doing. All right, crazy. All right, so, all right, but no, I that's why he was my third pick also, because Biff was just a great antagonist, great jerk. And as I, you know, had mentioned, just, you know, through the time periods, you just love to hate him, you know, and, you know, his, you know, make like a tree and, you know, get out of here, or whatever it was that he would say. It was great. It was absolutely fantastic.
I like it when he talks to himself as, you know, his grandpa and as Griff.
Yeah.
Biff talking to Griff, Griff talking to Biff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Or I like when the old Biff goes back and talks to the young Biff, and he's like, "Don't talk like that. You sound like an idiot."
Yeah. It's make like a tree and leave.
And honestly, that's really the what I'd always thought about is, like, you know, if you were to have a time machine and you go back and you talk to your earlier self, you know, what is it that you would have to say, or how would you have to deliver that message in order to convey whatever it is that you're trying to get your younger self to change? So, you know, albeit, you know, let's say you're an introvert and you're trying to convince your younger self that, you know, you've got to, you know, branch out and be braver and, you know, talk or lose weight or whatever. I mean, would you have to hit yourself over the head and go, "Come on," you know, or would you just go, you know, "Come on, this is me telling you, please do this for us"?
Yeah.
You know, what kind of message would you have to, you know, for your younger self? Would you have to hit him really over the head in order to get that message across. And I think the character that was Biff knew that you have to yell at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I went a little deep there. Sorry.
So are you asking us, literally,
No,
to answer that?
I
No,
guess,
it was just figuratively speaking.
Figuratively speaking, but I guess if you had to answer that, how would you have to talk to your younger self?
Well, I think I would have to talk about something that they discussed in church this morning, and basically it's talk less, listen more.
Yeah.
And just shut up and listen and pay attention. Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you'd have to get through to your younger self.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Rose, what do you think?
I have no clue. I'm a really stubborn person.
So you'd have to yell at yourself.
This question was not on the syllabus for being part of the quiz or the test.
You of all people know that we go into deep subjects. And we're allowed to go that way. But normally it's after we get through the main topic, but I'm going way off. All right, so Rose, you're on number 3.
Yay! Okay. James Spader.
Oh my God! Finally.
Really?
I know. I've been
had
waiting
no
for like
idea
45 minutes for this. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so James Spader, he just has that look about him. He could do either or, but he's really good as a bad guy. And I think he knows that too. So if anyone's out there familiar with the Blacklist, he's been killing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pretty in Pink, he played Steph. He's he's a Smurf in that, and he plays a really good Smurf. And at one point, actually, as I watched this movie later on in my years, he says something to Andy, and I actually heard myself say out loud, "Yeah, no kidding." Okay, wait a minute. Wow, I don't know where that came from. But, it came from life, pretty much. I mean, because I've revisited that movie several times since I watched it when I was younger, and I thought, yeah, there's a few things in there that could have went differently. But, it wouldn't have been the same movie, so, but that's okay. So, I sympathize with him a bit. I think he was a bit hardcore on his friends. And he had absolutely no respect for women, so I don't sympathize with him on that one. But to me, if you let a jerk be a jerk long enough, they'll think whatever it is that they're doing is acceptable. Life lesson, kids, just so you know that. Lesson Zero, he plays Rip. Lesson Zero, yeah, there's no sympathizing with him in this movie. He's just an absolute Smurf. Just a big, big Smurf in there. And he has no apologies for it either. So, yeah, so that's, when someone is that believable as someone who's supposed to be, evil and unacceptable in society, yeah, they're actually doing a pretty good job. And then, of course, Mannequin. I mean, wormy guy in Mannequin. I mean, he's still devious, but he's like huge, behind kisser to his boss.
Yeah. That was in a comedic kind of way. He was just.
Yeah, he was
just creepy.
He was just really creepy. Yeah. So there's like 3 different instances in movies, and he went on to play he was in Wall Street, of course, but I don't know what he did in Wall Street because I only watched the movie once, and then Jack's Back, but he actually, which is weird because he plays himself in Jack's Back, but he plays the brother that's like on the wrong side of the track. So it's like he can't even escape it when he's playing his own twin. So, but yeah. So that's my number 1 pick. Bad guy in the 80s.
In Wall Street, he wasn't too much of a jerk.
Was he?
No, if I remember right, he kind of gave insider information to Charlie Sheen's character.
Okay.
He was just kind of a college buddy, if I remember right.
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't really too much of a jerk in that one.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really call
Gecko's
that one as
job. Yeah.
as an actual factual, because like I said, I only saw the movie once, and
Gordon Gecko had jerk all on that one. So, but the good pick. Spader just in Less Than Zero and 16 Candles alone. Well, not 16 Candles. I'm sorry. Pretty in Pink. Those two roles alone just really solidifies him as in jerk status.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was great. He was definitely the like William Zabka, the guy you love to hate. You know. Yeah. He sealed that role up when he had it, and I want to say, I had respect of him as a bad guy during Mannequin, but I mean, you're right, he's wormy, and definitely not the same caliber of bad guy as the other two movies.
Yeah.
So, it's tough for me to give credit to that one for Mannequin, but I still like him a lot.
Yeah.
Great actor.
Yeah, and he's been able to carry that attitude of being the bad guy, I guess you'd say, like you said, in The Blacklist. But, and I've mentioned this before, but I also loved him as Robert California in The Office. And he wasn't like a bad guy. He was just really weird and off color and just strange kind of, you you didn't like him overall because he would look at you he would look at the characters a certain way. You're like, there it is. That's him from back then. That's coming out. That's the James Spader that we know and love.
Exactly.
So it cracks me up. So, and he does the same thing in Blacklist. I love his character in Blacklist. I think he does a really nice job of playing really the bad guy, but he's kind of a good guy in some weird way. Although he's a murderer and a thief, and he's
borderline psychotic, or would that be a sociopath? I know.
Oh yeah.
But, because there's a psychotic and then there's a sociopath that just looks like a normal everyday person until opens his mouth. But so yeah.
All right, so I think we're on my number 3.
We are.
Yeah, we are. And so I'm going completely on the nose on this one. This is the obvious 1980s movie bad guy choice. And you think bad guy, and you probably get just this image once I tell you it. In fact, I can just give you a hint, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And all I've got to do is make a sound effect.
Oh, dude.
We will rule
That's
the
awesome.
universe together as father and son. That's it. You hear that sound, you hear that voice, and you immediately think evil. You think bad. You think Darth Vader.
Nice.
Just
this is why you're the overlord, dude.
and I'm so glad that you guys took my second choice or my third choice and allowed me the chance where I was able to dig a little deeper and just go right on the nose on this one. And that's exactly what this was. This is on the nose. You think 80s bad guys, you've got to be thinking Empire Strikes Back, you've got to be thinking Return of the Jedi, and right there, the guy that you just hated was the guy that is guaranteed to never get a Father's Day card. Darth Vader. I mean, the guy who's going to kick, to cut off his own son's hand, just and then ask him to rule the universe with him. Who does that?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely fantastic. It's just
a bad father. That's who does that.
Yes. And so Darth, just I can't. Everybody knows how bad this guy is. It's tough for me to even. I mean, we can spend the rest of the rest of another hour just talking about Darth Vader, about how bad he is. But that's my number 3, and actually should be my number 1 pick. Should be everybody's number 1 pick for my.
Well, to me it went in 3, 2, 1 kind of a thing. So that's how I so my third choice, second choice, and then Vader was my first choice. So if you look at it that way, then it is.
Yeah, all mine were kind of equal in my eyes.
Okay.
And they're pretty much on the same level, and just in my opinion. I couldn't really put one as the most. I really like, of the 3 actors, if I was going to pick the one that I really like to dislike the most, would be Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
He just nails it. So.
Yeah.
Really?
He would have been
over
Darth
Zapka?
Vader. Yeah.
Huh.
I think he's a better actor, just overall.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
But Darth Vader, great pick, man.
Excellent.
I didn't see that one coming either. I didn't
either.
It never even occurred to me.
Didn't
to
think
pick
about
that.
it. Yeah.
And that's really is.
Yeah, and luckily, you picked Thomas F. Wilson, so I'm glad that you did. Now that gave me a chance to pull that one out.
Yeah. Now he is truly the one that everybody loves to hate, is Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
Because you think about all the Empire stuff that is out, like all you got all the Star Wars stuff, but everything happens to lean towards the Empire and the dark side, and it's all because of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not because it's not because of the Emperor. Emperor didn't have any. I mean, he had some influence on it, but Darth Vader is the epitome of just bad guys.
Yes.
Evil.
Mm-hmm. Very well done, Dave.
Look at that! I got applause. Yeah. Yay! Yay me! All right.
If I had,
you should get like a little sound wave.
That cheering sound effect would be great right now.
Yeah, totally. Did I ever tell you guys about my Darth Vader story?
No.
You have a Darth Vader story.
I do.
Was it where he's on the planet of Kashyyyk and for the Day of Life, and where they celebrated with all the Wookiees?
I can't believe we're disconnecting right now. I don't know what's going on. It's okay. Go ahead. Please tell me your Darth Vader story.
Well, I may have told. I don't know. You'd stop me if you've heard it before. So I'm at a Weird Al concert, and
that's a great way to start a story.
It is.
That is the great way to start the story. So I'm at a Weird Al concert.
So I'm at a Weird Al concert.
Hold on. Stop for just 1 minute. Okay, so I'm at a Weird Al concert, and then we have it's a Darth Vader story. I have no idea where this is going to go, but this is great.
So
don't let me down, Rose.
I won't. So he's doing the last song he does is the saga, the saga song where he does American Pie and he's talking about Star Wars. He's singing about Star Wars. Remember that song that he did? Yeah. Okay. So it's the end of the show, and the stormtroopers come out on stage, and he's dressed as Obi-Wan and or whoever he's dressed as. Anyway, so the stormtrooper, Darth Vader comes out, and everybody's in like full costume, and it looks awesome. So when the show's over, people are like milling about, and here the stormtroopers and Darth Vader come out, and they're taking pictures with people. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait to get a picture with Darth Vader. This is going to be so cool. So my daughter takes a picture first, and he's standing there, and he's got like his cape up. He's doing the the hand thing on her throat. I mean, it's just like, oh man, I want him to, and I'm just like so excited. I mean, how twisted is that? But it's just like, I hope he does the mind meld chokehold thing with me. This will be awesome. Because it's getting to be my turn to get my picture taken. And I'm just so excited about I'm not even paying attention to what he's doing. And, my daughter takes the picture and she hands me my phone and he, waves and leaves and he's got the cape and all that, and I look at my phone and I went, really? This is what I get? Sunday with grandma photo? What the hell? He literally has like I'm standing there like smiling like, oh, it's Darth Vader. And he's got like his head tilted to one side like he's taking a picture with his nephew or something. I'm like, what?
It's like,
He gets the
jeez.
death hold and I get this? Oh, where is he? And I'm like, get your ass back here. Take a real photo. What the hell's the matter with you? I was so disappointed. I was so like,
That
who's
is
gonna
wild.
take that? Who is gonna take that seriously? Nobody. I can't post that on Facebook. I can't put this on Instagram. I get laughed at. There's just no way. I was so disappointed. Just tragic.
Here's what you need. You need Darth Vader just doing the little head tilt like you said, but then holding up a peace sign. That's what you need. That's the picture I post.
Terrible.
I need to get a costume as Darth Vader and just do that.
I was so disappointed.
I have a shirt with Darth Vader on it, and he's holding a sign that says "Free Hugs."
That's terrible. That's just awful.
It's one of my favorite shirts. I love it. It cracks me up.
Actually, what I would do though is if I were dressed up as Vader, is I would do the "Live Long and Prosper," so it like kind of transcends both, star.
Star.
Yeah, both star things. So.
Anyway, so that's my Darth Vader story.
So you were disappointed that you didn't get an evil picture with Darth Vader?
Yes!
Okay.
Can you tell I'm still cheesed off? That was at least 3 or 4 years ago. I'm still pissed off about that.
We have to let the people at the Weird Al shows know what's going on here to get a better Darth Vader.
Yeah. Not so nice next time.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to
I want an evil Darth Vader to take a picture with.
Somebody that's going to choke us, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
Death chokehold, thank you. He did it for my daughter. Why couldn't he do it for me? She's way cuter than I am. How come she didn't get the happy smiley face picture? Jeez. Anyway.
Oh. All right, so we finished our top 3 80s bad guys on that one.
Yes,
so very cool. Were there any honorable mentions that you guys had out there that you just didn't get a chance to bring up?
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon, good choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt Dillon.
Yeah, Moody.
Rutger Hauer.
And oh yeah.
Just in the one movie, the Hitcher. I mean, just really. And yeah. He was just really creepy in the Hitcher.
Oh, he was uber creepy in the Hitcher. You're right.
As I was looking through and trying to find that third one, I was almost going to go Stripe from Gremlins.
Oh.
That would have been cute. Yeah.
That's funny.
I was leaning that way. And followed shortly by Gozer the Gozerian from Ghostbusters.
Gozer, nice.
Yeah. So, I was finding the ones that were definitely, on the nose, if you were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what's the mastermind on Princess Bride? What's his name?
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name right now.
What's his face?
Vicini.
Oh, Vicini. Oh.
Yes.
I am waiting for Vicini. Yeah. But the prince guy, he was a jerk too.
Yeah, Humperdinck.
Humperdinck, thank you.
Yeah, what a great name, huh?
I know. Humperdinck. I love Carol Kane in that movie. Both of them, Billy Crystal and Carol Kane, are excellent in that movie.
But I don't know if you guys are fans of Scarface by Tony Montana.
Well, yeah, that kind of goes without saying.
Yeah. But he was, it was kind of weird that the movie centered around the bad guy.
Yeah. It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of movies like that in the 80s. Weird. Did you notice where there was a sincere lack of women in our choices?
That is an excellent point. Was there any 80s, I don't know, bad women out there?
One of the lists I was looking at was, it was like the original Mean Girls, really. It was Heathers.
Heathers.
Oh,
yeah.
Heathers, yeah.
That's what I was thinking just as long after I said that.
Which I think Shannon Doherty was one of the Heathers, right?
That would surprise me.
And that was Winona Ryder also was in that, but she wasn't the bad guy.
How about Sigourney Weaver's character in Working Girl?
Oh, okay. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or, what was the other one? Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. Was that 80s?
Oh, yes, it was. Fatal Attraction.
You're just talking about psychopath people that are just crazy. Not necessarily.
But she was a villain, though. She was a villain. She pretty much knew exactly what she was doing. All of it was premeditated, of course.
All right, so what I found was the totally 10 Mean Girls from 80s cinema. Do you want to hear what I...
Yes.
Bring it on.
Okay, number 1. The Alien Queen in Aliens.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, I never... I guess I wouldn't have thought of that. But yeah, she was the
No.
queen. So
The guy that came up with Blinky wouldn't have thought of that.
yeah, I know, right? Number 2, Miss Hannigan from Annie. Carol Burnett.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, she was a bad egg.
Yeah. Number 3, Marquise Isabelle de Martille. Glenn Close from Dangerous Liaisons.
Okay.
Oh. Wow, she's pretty noted for playing the bad girl.
And then she went on to play Cruella de Vil too later on, which nailed that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so number 4, Amber Von Tussell, Hairspray, Colleen Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 5, Heather Duke, Heathers, Shannon Doherty.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Number 6, Entity, Tina Turner, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Huh.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Number 7, Benny Hansen, who is played by Kate Vernon in Pretty in Pink.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good call there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8. This is I don't know why I didn't think about this one earlier. This is great. Agatha Mama Fratelli, The Goonies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Anne Ramsey.
Yeah.
Lord bless her.
And then number 9, Ursula from The Little
She was
Mermaid.
that previous one. What was her name? Murphy? I'm sorry.
Fratelli?
Yeah.
Anne Ramsey?
She was also in Throw Mama from the Train.
Yes.
Played Mama,
Yeah.
who was also a not a very nice person.
No, she was not.
It's too damn sultry in here.
Yeah, I know.
I just watched that the other day. It's a great movie. Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
So now number 2 was who?
Number 9. We're going
number 9.
Yeah, Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
From Little Mermaid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the sea hag or whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
And then number 10, we already brought up Catherine Parker from Working Girl, Sigourney Weaver.
Sweet.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were some bad girls in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Gotta give a shout out to the girls. Speaking of girls, Scott.
What?
I wanted you to know I used the word ample like twice last week.
Why, Rose? Why would you think anything? Why does that have anything to do with me?
I just wanted to let you know that. I didn't want to leave the show without telling you. I used it in a sentence as well.
Really?
I did. Not in the context from which you used it, but I used it in a sentence. And then I chuckled to myself afterwards because I remember how I heard it initially. Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm posting the episodes in order.
Yeah.
That way our listeners know what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Like, what?
Because I so wanted to go and post our guilty pleasure movies early because I just love that conversation.
That was a good one.
Yeah. But I'm like, no, I've got to go in order. I've got to save it. So.
So you got it all edited down and ready to roll?
No. I've the one that's posting this week as we talk was the conversation that you and I had about Will Wheaton.
Okay, when we got to finish that one too.
You're talking about the series though.
Yeah, we need to work on the series on that one.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Yeah, we'll have to make some time.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're talking about our Stand By Me 80s Icon series.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
So I think we're over to social media credentials now. So go ahead, Scott.
You can find me on Twitter at 80s Auto Reverse and at Scott's Eye. And you can find us on Facebook at 80s Mixtape Auto Reverse.
Very cool. All right, Rose.
I am at 80s Music Girl on Twitter. I am 80s Music Girl on Facebook and 80s Music Girl on Instagram.
Man, we are so professional tonight. You guys got like your credentials without skipping through it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rose remembered she was on Instagram, so that's awesome. I'm picking on you, Rose. I love you. Don't hurt me. Anyway, I'm Dave. I handle our 80s Reboot account, and so that's Twitter at 80s Reboot, 80sreboot.tumblr.com, facebook.com/80s Reboot, and we also have that blog, which is southgatemediagroup.com/80s Reboot blog. And then also our email, which I encourage you all to send us an email and tell us how much you love us, and we'll read that one on the podcast. That's 80sreboot@gmail.com. Of course, we want you to go out there, do that rating review on iTunes. I keep asking you to do that. Still waiting for you guys to do it. I'm really counting on you. The world depends on you to go out there and give us an 80s Reboot icon, or not icon, but Overdrive review on iTunes. So please go out and do that. We would definitely love to see that. So Or else. I'll replace Rose.
There you go.
All right. So with that, we appreciate you reliving the 80s and have a wonderful whatever.
Yeah. Night, y'all.
Night.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye. We hope you've enjoyed this show. This podcast is part of the 80s Reboot Overdrive channel on Southgate Media Group. You can follow us on Facebook on the 80s Reboot group page. We're also on Twitter and Tumblr at 80s Reboot. We invite you to check out all the wonderful podcasts and blogs available at southgatemediagroup.com. And thank you for reliving the 80s.